This is Rockslapping Champions. Player 1, playing Tychus. We have Akasamich. And player 2, playing Kerrigan. We have Zona Latina. So while the players are getting set up, let's have a look at the masteries over here. Tychus has gone for the Tychus attack speed, the Tri-Outlaw improvement mastery, and the medevac cooldown as well. As of the latest patch, I think maybe the Odin cooldown might also be a competitive option. It really depends on how much mobility that you need throughout the course of the mission. And for Kerrigan over here, we have the attack damage and the Vespin cost reduction and a fast evolution mastery. So we should be expecting a unit-centric build here for Kerrigan. Most of these masteries are all very competitive, and when you see this kind of configuration, you are expecting a unit-based build rather than a solo Kerrigan build. So we will see what happens with the course of the mission over here. We have a spawning pool at the back of the mineral line, and we have 2 Vespine geysers already ready with extractors. And unfortunately, there are no drones that have been reallocated to these Vespine geysers so far. We still have a few more drones in production as well, and 2 overlords as well. And now we have the extra drones that have been reallocated to this extractor over here, which is again interesting because that one has no drones working on that. And if you are unsure as why that is weird, have a look at the build order theory guide and it'll explain what mining rates are and what they do. Tychus is basically going for a very standard build here. Now the question is, what is his first outlaw going to be that'll help Tychus on his way? He's going for the Gunslinger's hideout, so we are expecting maybe a Rattlesnake, maybe? I'm not really sure what the plan is here. And now we have the first queen out as well for Kerrigan. And Kerrigan's queen is going to be injecting some larvae to speed up their macro. Now, that is one way of definitely playing Kerrigan, and this is the way that I used to play. But because Kerrigan naturally just ends up floating a lot of minerals, I tend to just build macro hatcheries and just forego these queens. But both ways are, again, very valid ways of playing Kerrigan. And now we have Tychus out as well, and he is getting ready for this attack wave. And this attack wave looks like it is an air attack wave because it's jumping across the cliff over there. And as you can see, it is an air turn attack wave. And now there is a queen over here that will be attacking. This one Viking has landed. And yes, so indeed this is an air turn attack wave, which is kind of annoying because now it does mean that you are going to have to deal with very nasty stuff over here. So we do have Sirius out, and Sirius will be also a very good outlaw to be able to deal with the shells during the first wave. Kerrigan is now out and chilling next to her hatchery, which is now being converted to a lair, and now Kerrigan will go and clear up her expansion over here, hopefully by using her abilities. Or maybe not. Okay, so Kerrigan is just going to just use her standard auto attack to clear those rocks and not do anything else to clear those rocks a little bit faster. We have a bunch of creep that is being spread from these queens as well, which is an interesting thing. I'm not sure why there's creep being spread, but okay. So Tychus is basically over here, and he's going to be dealing with this. I'm more interested in seeing what Kerrigan is doing here. So yeah, Kerrigan is basically just auto-attacking these rocks, and now we have 2 evolution chambers coming out. So we should be expecting a Hydralisk build, I'm assuming. I think we should be expecting a Hydralisk build here. And okay, so Kerrigan's finished clearing up our rocks now. And what is in the production? We have just 2 evolution chambers. We have 3 evolution chambers, never mind. And these 3 drones now will be going to take their expansion and cap that. Kerrigan, on the other hand, is over here now with the army of 2 queens as well. And now this thing is going to be converted up to a hive, which is good because the hive upgrades will allow you access to your high-level Kerrigan upgrades, which is the ability efficiency upgrade, which makes Kerrigan very useful and allows her to spam her abilities a lot more frequently. One of the most important upgrades for Kerrigan there. And we have now these 3 evolution chambers. Are they going to start researching? They should start researching something at some point. Kerrigan is basically just waiting over here, right next to the warp conduit, ready to defend the conduit against the incoming ships that are on the way right now. And still nothing in production over here. Yeah, we basically have... We have 2 Hydralisk dens in production, which is again interesting. And we have a bunch of creep as well that is being spread here for Kerrigan. This creep will be able to reach over there. Now, usually if you do want to spread creep, I normally just use nice worms. I don't really use the creep spread mechanic because it requires you to get queens out, and that is a little bit too much macro for me. And now we can see here that Tychus is going to go and deal with this set of shuttles. There are a few hybrids over here. Kerrigan is still on this side. Tychus is getting Nikara out here, and this time Nikara is not a bad choice because Nikara is actually a competitive selection here. Especially against the Air Terran and stuff. If you go for Vega, Vega can be really useful in taking some of those high value units out of Amon's army. So that is definitely a competitive pick if you go for the appropriate outlaws over here. Kerrigan is still chilling on this side with 2 Hydralisk dens. And still no research being done on any of these evolution chambers. We do have a queen in production right now. I'm assuming the queen is being produced out of this thing, and that'll provide Kerrigan with the extra macro that she wants, the extra larva. And yeah, Kerrigan is just basically chilling on this side. What is Kerrigan looking at? Kerrigan is looking at her base right now, her expansion. Looks at Kerrigan, okay. Moves Kerrigan forward a little bit. Just readjust the positioning a little bit. And now we have a bunch of queens on this side as well. Still macroing up here and still looking at this base. Looking at the overlords now. And is there any plan here for Kerrigan to do anything? Are they AFK? They appear to be... They're not... Okay, they are moving a little bit. Okay, now they have decided to move Kerrigan here. I'm going to take off the player cam now. Let's see what the plan is. Kerrigan is moving into position here to try and deal with the second set of shuttles that are on the way. And we still have no upgrades here on any of these structures. And we have a bunch of Hydralisks that are in production over here. There's an attack wave now. There's an attack wave and there's a harass wave. So that harass wave has been addressed here by Tychus. And Kerrigan will be going to deal with this and now uses the auto attack. There are no skill usage here on Kerrigan, and Kerrigan just gets focus fired down by the Marines and this, and all the rest of these Hydralisks are just getting completely shredded by the Marines and the Banshees, and those things just got completely mauled. Over here, Tychus will be able to deal with this, but this is a problem now for Kerrigan. 1 queen goes down, 2 queens go down, and that last queen has also gone down, and now there is a lot of carnage onto Kerrigan's expansion. And that expansion actually does end up surviving, but that Banshee is not done murdering her drones over here. And that Hydra now does get aggroed by the rest of the outlaws, leaving this hatchery very low on HP at 111 HP. And total unit losses here is 1 Kerrigan, 3 queens, 8 Hydralisks, 8 drones, which is somewhat unfortunate. Now we have another bunch of Hydralisks that have been created for Kerrigan. So what Kerrigan is looking at, we're looking at those brilliant Hydralisks right now, which have had their brothers slain, and people see now what their plan is over here. Hydralisks are still on this side, and over here Kerrigan is going to be re-macroing up the hatchery. Hatchery actually has a lot of larvae, so it's not really that bad. So Kerrigan will be able to re-max out the expansion reasonably quickly. And now we have a conversion of 2 lurker dens. I am so confused right now. So we have the 3 evolution chambers, and as far as I know, there were no upgrades done on the evolution chambers. We have now these things converted to 2 lurker dens. Lurker dens against the Air Terran on void launch. Just digest that for a little bit. So we have lurker dens over here, and we have the Nubitized Carapace upgrade for fast moving overlords, I think. Are there any overseers? No, there are no overseers here. And we have the... Okay, so we have the 3 Hydralisk upgrades, which is also useful. The Hydralisk upgrades are actually probably the best upgrades you can get here. You can actually you can completely shred an Air Terran composition with a bunch of Hydralisks, as long as you do not move into the attack wave. You have to use Kerrigan's immobilization wave, and then unload a Nice Worm underneath it. You can actually shred an entire attack wave very quickly with Kerrigan and the Hydralisks there. Unfortunately, that is not enough Hydralisks. There are a total of 10 Hydralisks available, of which I believe are all here with Kerrigan. And now There might be actually another attack wave that will drop on this side, which might also be a bit of a problem. Kerrigan is still chilling next to this side, while Titus continues to start pushing to this enemy base. And that is a drop attack over here. I don't know if Kerrigan is going to go and engage that. Kerrigan is not paying attention. Kerrigan is now paying attention. And now she's going to go and start pushing into this base here. You see the frenzy on these Hydralisks can actually be very, very useful. Even though Tychus did most of the damage output, that frenzy upgrade is very, very important. Kerrigan sees her ally pushing into this base here and decides to go and help out. There is a Thor on the back, and that might be a bit of a problem. Now there is a Cloaked Banshee over here, and that Cloaked Banshee will start attacking Kerrigan. Kerrigan getting a little bit too low over here, and these Hydralisks on this side with their frenzy. But there is a Banshee on the side that is attacking Kerrigan's Hydralisk. So one Hydralisk has gone down, two Hydralisks have gone down. These Hydralisks are actually getting murdered by that one Banshee, and now two Hellbats in the way as well that is over there. And Kerrigan has somehow managed to die. Again, I'm not really sure how Kerrigan managed to die, but there we go. We have Kerrigan dead now, and these Hydralisks decide to retreat there because that Cloaked Banshee is causing a bit of a problem. So far, the casualties have been 2 Kerrigans and 16 Hydralisks, and now the next set of shuttles have spawned. Kerrigan has produced a few more Hydralisks now, and here we go. So Kerrigan is basically using 3 queens to inject larvae into these hatcheries over here. Now the way the larva inject mechanic works is if you have 1 queen or if you have 3 queens, the rate, which is this bar of larvae being spawned, is basically the same. You will not get more larvae being produced at the hatchery at a particular amount of time. It basically just stacks up these larva injection cycles. So that's something else to note there, is that, you know, just because you have more queens injecting doesn't mean you get more larvae. You just get more stacks of the larva inject, so you don't have to inject larvae again at, you know, after a particular amount of time. Just repeats the action a little bit more frequently. I'm just going to talk about that a little bit because it is a slightly lesser known mechanic in the game because nobody tends to use the larva. And now we have a bunch of Hydralisks over here. These Hydralisks should be able to take care of the rest of the stuff. There is detection right now. Check this turret, and now these shuttles are gone. Kerrigan with her army of Hydralisks, and we have the Overseers now. Kerrigan has added these Overseers, so the Unitized Carapace upgrade is being a little bit useful. Kerrigan has also started to research some of these upgrades. Okay, so these evolution chambers now why? Wait, why is she going for the missile, and then she's gone for the melee attacks as well? Melee attacks do not affect Kerrigan, so I don't know why she's going for all the other upgrades here. What's also interesting is she has a Lurker Den, 2 Lurker Dens, it's not even 1 Lurker Den. But I am so confused right now. Floating a total of 1,500, 2,000 gas, but I think at some point she's going to create some other units that will be able to utilize that. And now we have the first triple shuttle spawn, and this spawn is notorious because there is going to be a very, very large and fat attack wave that will spawn on this side. This usually happens as soon as the shuttles reach, you know, around this side here. So basically the intent was to have this attack wave accompany the shuttle wave here. So as soon as the shuttle reach over here, there will be a huge attack wave. And Kerrigan is standing in a reasonably okay location. She needs to get a little bit closer, but she needs to use the mobilization wave, which has still not been done. I've also realized that Kerrigan has not gotten any of the Kerrigan related upgrades, which I was talking about earlier as well, which are very, very important. And now we have, this is the escort, so that's not really too bad. Kerrigan will be able to take care of these shuttles without too many problems, but the attack wave is about to spawn right on top of her army. There are a bunch of Cloaked Banshees as well that are causing a problem, and now Kerrigan gets focus fired down by the hybrids. Kerrigan goes down. These Hydralisks stand no chance against the big fat hybrids and the army of Banshees over there, and that is the entire bunch of Kerrigan's army completely shredded by the air tearing composition. This Overseer decides to retreat. He does not want any part of this, and he's getting out of the way now. And now there are a bunch of Banshees and Vikings that are over here, and Tychus will have to deal with the rest of this stuff. You know, loss-wise, Tychus hasn't really lost anything, and now we have a hybrid behemoth that is just wandering around here. Kerrigan, on the other hand, is looking at the spawn. What upgrade is Kerrigan getting in the spawning pool that is important? Adrenal glands, metabolic boost. This is definitely interesting. Kerrigan is now going for the Kerrigan upgrades. He's put down 3 spires and gotten the Greyer Spire, like all 3 of them in the Greyer Spire upgrades here. And we have 2 Ultralisk Caverns as well. I have no idea what is going on right now. Is Kerrigan just researching everything? No, Kerrigan is actually making Ultralisks now. Kerrigan has decided that they have a shortage of tanky units on the front line against this air composition and need the extra DPS. And now Kerrigan has an army of Ultralisks to back up those weak, measly Hydralisks that are not able to deal with the attack wave. We have an Overseer over here that is being floated, and Tychus is basically dealing with this next shell wave. Now over here there is going to be a harass wave for this research vessel, so Kerrigan will be able to hopefully deal with that. There is another floated Overseer on the side. Is Kerrigan going to spot this? Nope, this Overseer is going to get harassed by a bunch of Vikings over here, and this Overseer is going to get picked off. And Kerrigan decides to go and engage this attack wave now because she has the Ultralisk. These Ultralisks will be able to tank, and they will also be able to survive. And here we have the first immobilization wave used, which is very useful, but unfortunately all the Hydralisks were killed off in that process, and they have nothing now. And Kerrigan, with her army of Ultralisks, are all going to get completely shredded by the Yamato cannons and the rest of the air turret composition over here. Actually, this Ultralisk does end up surviving, which is somewhat amusing. But we have now 2 Ultralisks that have been left out of Kerrigan's army. So far, 4 Kerrigans have gone down, 50 Hydralisks, and 1 Ultralisk have been killed off. As you can see now, Kerrigan has taken an engagement, and she has had part of her army survive, so she's definitely doing the right thing over here. So the plan now is to double down onto the strategy, and we'll see what the plan here for Kerrigan is. I'm assuming she will be making some more Ultralisks to ensure that she survives. Oh, she's making Hydralisk and some more Ultralisks over here. Those Ultralisks are very useful in keeping her army alive and making sure that she does not lose her entire army when she goes to take on an engagement. So Kerrigan now is out and ready to go again. There was a minor setback with Kerrigan, but she has the immobilization wave now ready. It'll be ready in about 45 seconds. That's okay. Kerrigan will be good to go and ready to deal with this next set of shells. So there's another 2 set of shells over here. I think this is the final attack wave. Yeah, so this is the final shell wave. And again, there is a very, very large, fat attack wave that spawns on this side. Tychus is just basically going to try and deal with these shuttles, while Kerrigan is sitting in the second bonus objective area. And we have no production right now from either of the players' units owned. We have 5 Ultralisks and 23 Hydralisks with 1 Kerrigan. And now this attack wave has spawned, and Kerrigan is ready to pounce onto this attack wave and catch them by surprise with her army of Ultralisk and Hydralisk. Kerrigan jumps in, immobilization wave there. Now her Hydralisks are alive, and they will be able to shred through this enemy Terran composition. But there is one small issue, is that the immobilization wave does not last forever. And now the battlecruisers are going to start Yamato cannoning all her Ultralisks, and her Hydralisks are just going to get auto-attacked down. Kerrigan getting focus fire down by a bunch of Banshees and a bunch of battlecruisers, and that is the end of Kerrigan's career as the Queen of Blades, and her reign is ended. And now we have 1 Ultralisk that is retreating from the army of battlecruisers because the Ultralisk unfortunately cannot jump in the air and nibble onto that battlecruiser over here. That is a bit of a problem because he's still getting focus fire down. And now we have the Odin Bells is also being dropped. Overall, 5 Kerrigans have gone down, 73 Hydralisk and 4 Ultralisk, and that Ultralisk also does end up getting killed off as well by that battlecruiser. And that is pretty much all the shells destroyed, and all of Kerrigan's army destroyed, and all of Kerrigan's reign destroyed. And that is GG.